Alright, Snakes Pilskiness has made another video. Really irritating. I mean, well, anyway, it's all irritating, right? I mean, these people are just... I mean, they're all just such assholes. You know, look, I'm still waiting to see someone say your name right. LOL, especially this guy. Snake Pilskinist, right? I mean, he's taken on the character from Escape from New York. I mean, this isn't some mysterious thing. I always knew what Pilskinist stood for. It's Snake Pilskinist. I mean, this isn't, you know, what the fuck? I mean, really, what the fuck is wrong with you people? This is not important. Anyway, so anyway, this is your whole video, just raggy personal crap again. Just all this personal crap. Like, all this personal crap means something. So I should, you know, he just needs welfare checks, this, blah, all this crap. Like, somehow, you know, he knows my life, and he can critique my life, and what I've had to do in my life to survive, and all that kind of shit. And he can just put in a little cup, a little Dixie cup, and call it, you know, pink lemonade. And that's his right. And I'm supposed to now get on the internet and explain why. Fuck you, cunt. That's not... the truth you're writing is not the truth, okay? It isn't the story. And you're just gonna fucking... Yeah, well, I'm not gonna do that on the internet, okay? That's not what I'm gonna do. So fuck you. Fuck you for putting other people in that position. You veil. You send us these messages like, hey, I'm war hero guy. I killed all these nasty people that were on the list the government gave me to kill. You know, I'm a great hero. I didn't interview them or nothing. I just killed them. I didn't find out what kind of human beings they were first. No, they didn't need any reason to get killed. They just had to be a human being on the other side of the line, and I killed them. But you don't tell us what you were. Were you a big helicopter man, or were you a big I shoot 'em guy, or where were you in the rank of the hierarchy of death? You know, and then you tell us your little story about I was lost in the wilderness and had to communicate with the alien rat culture. I had to become a rat and sleep with the rats. Well, I can tell stories about how I went swimming with the snapping turtles. I mean, is this what we're going to do? Exchange superhero stories? You know, Batman versus Superman kind of bullshit. Is that all? Is that all you got? But I don't have any desire to do that. But whatever. I mean, it might make a good comic routine, but I just don't see any value in this shit. What's it matter where I came from or who I am or how much money I didn't make in the stock market? I mean, you're going to call that? Hey, I'm a credible human being. I made money in the stock market. Huh? Sorry. But whatever. Again, this whole idea of if I had $1 million, if I had invented whatever, you know, glow-in-the-dark butt plugs or something, I made $1 million. That would have made me a credible human being then? Then I could go on the internet and philosophize because now I'm the guy who invented glow-in-the-dark butt plugs? Is that how superficial and silly your perspective is? No. I don't think it is, but yeah, you're just doing your routine. This is the routine, right? You just mock and critique, and you don't care how sloppy it is. You don't care if you really actually do say something stupid like, you know, when was the last time you beat your wife kind of bullshit. Yeah, just fuck you, you pedophile. I mean, God, this is nothing to say. You know, shit, fuck you. Alright, so anyway, now he's walked away from the word nihilist, fair enough. And so now he's a fatalist. And so if I could believe it was all going to be over in 1 or 2 human generations, like the human race was going to actually blow the place up really soon. I mean all the way up, not a little bit up, but I mean all the way. Like they were actually going to, you know, throw up their feet. You know, the whole thing would get inverted and die. Then I'd say, fine. Yeah, let's just party, fucker. Okay, I'm with you then. Okay, everybody just take feel-good pills and let's just, you know, sit on the bus and wait for it to crash into the wall. But I don't think that's the way it's going to play out. I don't think logically it makes any sense to cling to that kind of hope that the human race does nothing right. So they'll do killing themselves wrong too. Okay, they won't put a bullet to their head and get over with. No, they're going to shoot themselves in the nuts. All right, and it's going to be ugly and messy. It's going to be a slow, horrid death. Now, that doesn't shrivel you up any? Fine, it shrivels me the fuck up. The thought of the AK-47 dark, you know, post-human apocalypse, yeah, it just doesn't get me all, you know, it's kind of a boner killer. And so, yeah, I'm going to fight for the persons who's going to live in that world, potentially. And I'm going to try to limit the number of them. And by speaking words right now, this is a contraceptive. That's what I'm hoping this is. I'm pretty damn sure it is, actually. I'm pretty sure this is like killing sperm cells right now. This is just killing them off right now. I'm stopping. Okay? There's people going blipping right out of existence. As I speak these words, people are blipping out of the future. They're just whoop, blip, 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 blip. They're disappearing. And I say, oh, damn, am I winning there? You know, see how many I can blip the fuck out of existence. And so you can say it's futile and it's stupid and you're just giving people upset stomachs or something. And I'm just going to say, no, I think I'm blipping harm out of the future. I'm literally blipping harm out of the future. And, you know, until you can make an argument that that's not what's happening, then I'm going to say it's win. If I can just blip 2 of them out, it's win. You know, 1 probably is enough, and I can guarantee I already got the 1. You know, so, yeah, what's your argument? I should stop talking because you don't like to hear it? Well, fuck that. That's not much of a fucking reason for me to stop talking. You don't like it? Well, too bad. Really, this is just obnoxious. So anyway, you said you're all game for this what to do thing, and the what to do thing isn't that complicated, but you're going to just keep mocking the reason why it needs to get done, okay? I mean, animals are sentient creatures, you're a little rat and such, and there's an implication to their existence. There's implications to what happens to them. And you just sit there and mock that, okay? So, I mean, what's happening to animals because they're getting eaten is not good. And if that keeps going on generation after generation, it's not good. And this is another one of those planet savers, too. You know, if the human race is going to survive, it's going to have to do it by growing up and realizing that it can't squander energy manufacturing meat. And the other issue is this whole idea of why create one more recklessly created human being? Nobody should be created recklessly. So yeah, if you can take the reckless ones out, it's all win. If you can blip those out of existence, blip, 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 they don't exist. They don't have to drive on the bus going into the wall. I mean, if I can pull somebody off, there's a bus headed for a brick wall, and I can pull somebody off the bus. Why the fuck wouldn't I do that? It's a decent thing to do. So I'm going to do it. And that's what I mean by responsibility. You have a responsibility for where, you know, any momentum. You're either throwing bricks in front of the bus to try to slow it down, or you're pushing the bus faster. I mean, these are your 2 roles in life or something. I don't know how to you keep breaking every metaphor. You know, you can't even explain a circumstance because you're going to sit there and manipulate it. You say, well, it's better to not have a brain tumor than have a brain tumor. And then you'll make some rationalization for why brain tumors are kick-ass sometimes. You know, so you don't obey anything as a thought experiment or as a premise. You just break the premise and then continue on like you didn't just break the premise to 1,000,000 pieces. So there's this idea that there is a better welfare, a better turnout, a better outcome. There's better and worse outcomes. Our responsibility is to try to create an outcome in the future that has the least amount of screaming and yelling and horror in it. And that's what I intend to do. And you can critique it as me fucking up and I'm not doing it right. Well, go ahead and say that, but you're not demonstrating it with any kind of rational argument. You sit there and twist and turn your own philosophy. One minute you say, well, I know it's absolutely certain it's fatalistic. Except maybe it's not. What the hell good is that shit? So what else did you say? Yeah. But, you know, whatever. I really don't have any interest in this personal crap. I mean, you want to just, you know, I mean, maybe we can arrange to do the fake Sagan boxing thing or something. But I'd rather just throw knives or something. You know, do it for real. You know, do it really hard ass. You know, but yeah, I just have no interest in your this whatever this bullshit is, that you're going to test your life against me, or your character against mine, or your intelligence against mine even. It just seems kind of stupid. All right, but you're not making a relevant argument to the subject. And the subject is evolution, replicating molecule, feudal existence, just completely perceptual nonsense in people's heads. Obviously, you can change what nonsense is in people's heads. It happens all the time. Human beings change their perspective because somebody says something and go, holy shit, that makes sense. Man, was I ever an asshole? I mean, you're saying there's no characters? Carl Sagan didn't change anybody's perspective? Martin Luther King didn't change anybody's perspective? I mean, come on, it's just bullshit. Words are important. And you're just spouting words like, yeah, I personally think having kids is a really dumb idea. But I'll just say to every reckless asshole I see, fuck wearing a condom. Is your IQ below 90? Yeah, don't wear a condom. I mean, you're doing exactly the opposite in your casual lack of consideration than you say you believe in. You say you believe in something, but you don't talk like you believe it. I mean, I don't really care that you personally don't have kids. Really isn't philosophy. That's a personal decision. I personally don't have kids, but I don't personally have kids because I'm an anti-natalist. I don't have kids because I don't want fucking kids. I mean, it's just not that. Philosophy isn't behavior. Philosophy is words and ideas and concepts. And it's really great when your behavior can match your belief system, but sometimes it can't. Sometimes you're not strong enough to be as good as your words. So what? Doesn't change the fact that your words are good. Huh? Right? Well, whatever. So let's play a little bit of this and get it over with and move on to the next asshole.
Objective reality, like the way you say efficient, when it's totally fucking meaningless in that context.
Well, whatever. You want to argue these semantics. I'm saying that no, the old language is broken, okay? The fact that we made these words and narrowed them to certain aspects, like the word cannibalism. Well, cannibalism, it's not about how many DNA molecules you have or what shape your molecules are. The whole point is what are you doing? Are you eating something sufficient to your own self? I mean, are you eating something or hurting something or harming something? Are you taking from something? Are you stealing from something that's effectively the same as you? All right, we don't sit there and do the genome code and say, okay, well, you're an American Indian and you're a European white, and therefore you're not the same animal, so then you may eat that one because they're not the same thing. Technically, you're genetically not the same animal. Well, that would be nonsense and idiotic. And efficiency is the same kind of word. Efficiency has to do with how, the distance, straight line. The idea of a straight line is the most efficient way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. That's a perfectly valid use of the word efficient. All right? Now you want to say the concept of that efficiency has to be described with some other word? Like what? There is no other word. We don't have a word that describes efficiency of these different concepts without using the word efficiency. It's just the only one English provides. Oh, shit.
But it just sounds like you know what the fuck you're talking about, when in fact you're just using a word that gives you credibility while is utterly inappropriate for the context. Just like
whatever. This go ahead then. Just keep picking with this semantics crap too. Fine. So all this personal shit now, fucking word arguments. The concept is understandable. The idea of the straightest line between point A and point B being the most efficient way to get from point A to point B. Okay, that kind of concept of taking the squiggles and the nonsense and the noise out of something, all right, isn't a concept people can't understand. Now, if I have to do this, 4 or 5 sentences to do efficiency every time I say efficiency, I don't mind. I'll do that if everybody requires that to take place. But I don't think people are quite as dumb as you. I think they can understand the word efficiency in different contexts, and they do understand that the only thing that's not measured or judged based on its productivity is, that cars aren't the only thing that have efficiency.
Just like addiction, just like pretty much every emotionally charged but factually devoid fucking word that you ever goddamn use.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't think efficiency is a terribly emotionally charged word. I really don't. I don't think people think of the concept of efficiency. I don't think they think of the concept of productivity either. So I don't see any problem with me raising those as concepts, as mindsets, to sit there and think about the scope of your life, just like the movie It's a Wonderful Life or something might make somebody think about their life and how they've impacted others, and whether, if they could see the world with them or without them, that they might be sort of disappointed that, yeah, maybe they were the ones creating a Pottersville and that maybe they should do a little better. Like, that's not a bad thing, fuck ass.
It's another one of these cheats. It's, as I pointed out, there's a difference between the value of being in an emotional and lice are eating at me and, I'm miserable and...
Oh, there's fundamental value to our subjective emotional states? Well, it just so happens, Gary, that almost every
No, see, again, you had to put the word subjective emotional states in. It doesn't matter whether it's a subjective emotional state. All it is an emotional state experienced by an individual. So again, you're the one playing with the words, implying that the emotional state is somehow created out of subjectivity, when no, it is created out of the mechanics of consciousness. And it is the state itself that has value, being in a positive state versus being in a negative state. And that's derived the value. Nothing, this thing, can't have value if it doesn't affect something that feels. Something, some feeling thing has to be affected by this thing for this thing to have relevance. Some feeling thing has to have a feeling because of this. A feeling experience. It doesn't have any intrinsic value. It only has function value. It only has value by its effect on feeling things as a collective.
Single sentient fucking creature that has ever lived in the entire motherfucking history of time thinks that despite the suffering, that life is worth living.
Well, again, the fact that people think things is fucking relevant to anything I'm arguing, okay? The fact that their opinion is different than mine doesn't really change the fact that they're wrong and I'm right. Okay, their delusion that there's purpose in buying a lottery ticket doesn't mean that there's any sense or rationality or substance or value to it. The fact that they believe in Jesus doesn't mean Jesus exists. I mean, none of this matters, okay? This appeal from the authority of popular culture is just nonsense. It has no authority. It has no credibility. So it's a meaningless point to make to me. Let me hear what all the people who say, my life is valid, my life is valid, if they're saying it out of their own ego deprivation, if they're saying it out of their own ego desperation to validate their own shit fucking existence, then it doesn't mean anything. I mean, if they really aren't measuring their real impact on the world, if they're not doing the It's a Wonderful Life thing and demonstrating to me how they converted the world from Pottersville to Harry's Land, that somehow, if they can't demonstrate how they made the world a better place by being here, then they can't tell me that their life is worth living.
And because that is subjective, not objective, because if an animal thinks that life is worth living, then to that animal it...
Well, again, this animal thing. I mean, an animal can't think in any kind of rationally substantive way. They're ignorant. So the voice of ignorance is not, again, something I have any obligation to pay any attention to. I don't have to go and put money in the voice of ignorance slot machine or vending machine and pull out my Twinkies of ignorance, okay? They don't mean anything. They have no value. They have no food value there. I don't have to go there. I don't have to play in their field. I don't have to eat their shit. It's just nothing. It's drivel. It's meaningless. So until they contrive and compose a rational argument, made out of an understanding of bacteriology and DNA molecules and chemistry and physics and the game being played on Earth, the parasitic little infestation game, until they understand that context and then tell me what they think, then their opinion's worth listening to. But if they're going to say, I think Jeebus made me and Jeebus is cool and therefore I'm cool, well, that doesn't have to mean anything at all.
Is fucking worth living, then you have no basis for your entire fucking philosophy, because your opinion is out goddamn voted by absolutely every...
Well, whatever. Outvoted. So again, it's, whatever. I don't care, okay? The first people to raise their hand say slavery was wrong were outvoted, okay? So that just doesn't mean anything. It's not a rational argument. And it's not about people validating their own existence. Again, the subject is, do they have a right to put a new being at jeopardy? Do they have a right to sail another Titanic? And I'm arguing they have no such fucking right to play God. Just because biology, just because nature was dumb enough to give them reproductive mechanism, does not mean they have any qualifications to use those mechanisms. Doesn't mean they're qualified to play God.
Everybody else. It is not objective. It is subjective. It is the value of emotional context. And you are outvoted, motherfucker. Every other living thing says you are wrong, okay? You don't think life is worth living, you put a bullet in your motherfucking brain. Because everybody else...
Right, this isn't an appeal to emotion. And you're whispering, like, what is it, some chick in the other room sleeping or something? Or is it mommy? So if you actually made these videos the way I do, where I can actually yell because the cat doesn't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, that somehow this wouldn't be just an appeal to emotion, that this wouldn't be just called some crackhead on the internet, or some fucking drug, you're on cups fulls of antidepressants a day, and you drink. Great, great medical plan. I hope that works for you.
Thinks otherwise.
Blah, blah, blah. Or I'm in a blissful state in some perfect warm environment.
Here we go,
Those two states have value. As I'm experiencing, is meaningless. That's a subjective projection of value.
Oh, looks like I jumped the gun there, saying that every model produced by the brain of reality is equal, because Gary's going to tell us which ones are important. Because what you're actually experiencing is more important than the things that you are projecting value upon, even though both are a model produced by...
No, well, both aren't a model produced by, okay? So that's where you're wrong, all right? And I'm not saying I have the explicit truth. I'm saying there is an explicit truth. That in the end, okay, there's going to be a final product number, so to speak, a thing that'll be written. It doesn't have to be read by anybody. It doesn't have to mean anything to anybody. But it's just going to be a fact that this many Holocausts happened, this many things got stepped on, this many things yelled in horror, this many things got, spotted fever, this many things, there was this much negative shit, and then there was this much satisfied ambitions and silly trivial victories, and I won the gold medal, ain't I great, even though, 5 other guys got paralyzed in training, and that guy, had a, big fight with his wife because he spent all his money on steroids and blah, blah. Even though there's a whole big pile of nastiness that was created to get that one winner, that some, those equations are going to be out there, okay? This lottery math will be obvious, and it'll be obvious that the product of this nonsense was preposterous waste. And that's all it was, because it didn't accomplish anything. There was no mission statement. It just made a mess, cleaned up some portion of the mess, and then just left the rest of the mess sitting there.
By patterns of neural networks firing in a particular type of sequence, one is fundamentally real and one is fundamentally not real. How goddamn convenient, Gary.
Well, that's not the argument, but whatever. The argument's pretty simple, that we generate value by having a conscious state, that a conscious entity, a feeling entity, something that can feel, generates value by feeling. Value now exists in the universe. If there was one feeling thing in the universe, it would be generating value. that's too hard a concept to accept, fine, don't accept it. I don't give a fuck. All right? I think it's a perfectly sensible, logical, rational way of looking at how the universe works. You don't think so. Fine. You go do your stupid ass fucking whatever one-eyed killer monster man thing, and I'll go do my fucking thing. Why the fuck am I your problem, fuckhead?
That the good shit is all just an illusion, and all the bad shit is fundamentally real, like the laws of goddamn physics. You incredible mother...
No, that's, again, you can't tell the difference between desire, okay, and the consequential feeling state, okay, where, like, you either feel healthy or well, or you feel sick and unhealthy and unwell, and that those two states are different in their qualitative reality. And then there's this other mechanism of desire that sort of creates a dull kind of negative, a dull kind of ache in us, and that when we satisfy some problem created by that desire state, that the desire state is usually made out of some sort of negative, like I want to have what somebody else has, I feel inferior, I feel some other kind of negative thing, and I think if I acquire this thing or this possession that somehow I will escape from that negative state, when in fact most people don't do that, and that's why they have to be on antidepressants, is because they keep thinking they're going to be satisfied, and they're not made to be satisfied. They're made to be unsatisfied. That's the biology. That's why the game is stupid, and you don't want to agree with that, don't agree with it, but whatever. I can't give you any more, well, I could, but I've already done it in videos that you don't seem to want to watch. So, I don't know, do I really have to personally tutor you?
Fucking fucktard.
The value is in my state of being. Now, psychologically, human beings are motivated through emotional passions. They have...
There we go, we jump ahead.
Fucking creature has that you just seem to discount out of hand because life is so hurty inside. That kind of motivation? Huh? Because I have a will to survive. Almost every fucking sentient creature has a will to survive.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, the will to survive is more a will not to be harmed, I would argue. Okay, most people just don't want to be harmed. All right, so I don't even think it's survival that they're after, and they just associate death with a harm. Okay, they just see it that way. It's not a real thing. It's just I'm a scared thing. It's an unknown. And once they've resolved the unknown part of that, once they've said, oh yeah, me not existing is just not me not existing, it's not going to be all that bad. But what they're thinking is that if they don't exist, then birds will stop flying, suns will stop setting. They really do think like when they die, the world will just stop and all the people will get thrown off. They think something horrible is going to happen in the world when they are no longer here to be special, because they think they're special. That's a delusion they have. That's not the truth. And so if they get over their delusion and they realize that there isn't really anything, they're never going to be done. The game is always playable. You're always trying to run from something hurting you, so it doesn't matter. And it's just about when you go, but you're going to go, and so it's really just about how you go. Anyway. Moving on.
Right, but you're like, oh no, fuck that shit, because life hurts.
Yeah, I just don't see the point of this.
And something like...
making fun of, again, life hurts, mocking this idea that somebody should have some appreciation for harm and suffering. I just don't get that, all right? You want to go there, that's your business. I'm just saying this is one of those things where I say, I think I'm on the majority side this time. I think most people understand that, when their mother spends 5 years dying of cancer or something, it just goddamn sucks. I mean, that suffering sucks. And if they could stop that suffering, if they could stop their child from suffering, they'd really, really, really want to do that. It's not a little thing. It's a big fucking thing. It's a monstrously huge thing. It's a gigantic thing. I mean, sometimes it's so big, you'll spend your whole life trying to climb over it. I mean, there's some things I've seen. I would have to spend lifetimes if I was truly going to climb over it. And I've just cheated by drilling a hole through it and walking to the other side. But I mean, I could never really deal with it. I just had to, avert my eyes and cheat my way around it. But you want to say it doesn't mean anything. I'm saying, fuck you, it means everything.
Holocaust, or something like having a nail shoved in your eye.
Gary, I'm a little concerned at this point. Did you just suggest that we round up people and start shoving nails in their eyes? I mean, I think that's a little extreme. I mean, I know that you want to wipe out all life on Earth by killing people.
Yeah, whatever. So you're going to end the video on complete nonsense. Oh, bravo. So this video had some hope in the beginning, but yeah, you just turned it into real shit. So I guess you got drunker, and the video got worse.
Those associations will generate the emotion for you.
Or, in the reverse process, you could take fundamentally blameless, non-anthropomorphic, non-malicious things and then apply your emotionally charged buzzwords to make them seem as if they had emotional content.
Well, what? Yeah, so, yeah, the capturing, the breeding, the I don't even know what, the confining, the tormenting, and then the slaughtering of animals is, yeah, I'm just emotionally, I'm creating some kind of bad. The bad isn't intrinsic in that behavior. And if a kid tomorrow is born with, some hard disease and it slowly dies over the next 10 years through tons and tons of horrific and awful therapies, its misery and its suffering doesn't mean anything. We should just ignore that and just find a new kid that's happy. Just call that one broken and move on. And not understand that that's the price of that one is this one. And that logic is somehow a manipulation. I've twisted people's vision. I've distorted their view. I've crookeded the idea because I've associated two things. That this is the price you pay for rolling the dice. That the dice have snake eyes on them. Somehow I'm an evil, manipulative asshole because I've pointed out to people before they roll the dice that, look, the dice have snake eyes. See? And when you roll them, the snake eyes can come up, and snake eyes is really, really bad. Yeah. Yeah, it really is bad. Snake eyes really do suck. This is probably, in a garbage can somewhere. Anyway, let's move on.
It's really not practically possible for a human being to function, without doing this.
Well, Gary, actually the judgments are a consequence of the emotions. And what you, psychopath, fail to fucking realize is...
No, it's just not true, okay? The judgments aren't a product of the emotions. The judgments are a product of the rational processing of the environment and doing simple things like saying, I love my dog. I had a dog when I was a kid. I love my dog, right? I mean, my dog was great. And then I realized that there's no difference fundamentally between my dog and a pig. And so all of a sudden I didn't feel too good about breakfast. Well, I never ate meat for breakfast anyway. That just was a little bit gross. But anyway, you get my drift. And so, yeah, that was a little transition took place in my understanding. So it wasn't an emotional thing. It was just a logical thing. Like, what is the difference between a little dog brain and a little pig brain? And then I went to a farm. And I actually went into the pig pen, and I actually had that experience where I'm saying, I'm going to sit there and look into a pig's eyes, and I'm going to see if I can see a dog in there. And I did. I saw the dog inside the pig. And then I said, oh, I get it now. This is shit. This is fucking bullshit. And, yeah, that's my progression through my understanding that there's something wrong with what people are doing here. This is wrong. Duh. Horror, horror, horror. So even back then I was a little manipulator because I dared to question these normative values that said, no, pigs are some kind of alien thing and they just look like they feel, but they don't really feel. Sorry, no sale again.
That other people have different emotions than you. Let me repeat this, motherfucker. Other people...
Irrelevant. We're talking about how you logically connect the dots. We're talking about, here's the game board. Let's pull ourselves out of this. Let's not be pawns or anything in the game anymore. And let's just analyze the game. And let's talk about what these things are doing. And is the king any better than the pawns? Or the pawns any better than the... whatever's lower than the pawn? Let's pretend there's something lower. The pawn dogs. But whatever. And when you analyze it, yeah, the thing, I'm just saying, when you analyze the game, you can see what has value. What has value is these emotional states we exist in. Okay? What exactly we're emotional about is irrelevant. The fact that we're emotional is the only thing that matters. Yeah.
Have different emotional responses to shit than you do. Ergo, your judgments do not constitute a pogrom to be instituted.
Okay, well, if we're going to do retarded talk. But you're not understanding that understanding is different than emotionating. Just as I point out, you could be emotional about pink jelly beans, and then you could realize that the other jelly beans, when you cut them open and squish them and such, are just like the pink jelly beans. And so since you are emotional about pink jelly beans, you have to be logically consistent and be emotional about the other colored jelly beans. Or something like that.
Upon all of fucking humanity. Even if it could possibly have any goddamn effect toward any outcome that you wanted, which, FYI, motherfucker, it won't.
I mean, in some respects...
Gee, a naysayer. A naysayer on the internet. And he's also a nitpicker. What a surprise, a nitpicking naysayer. I haven't seen one of those ever. What a preposterous idea. Nay, saying nitpicker. There's none of those in the world. So yeah, you're just being a cliche. I mean, like, so cliche. I mean, like, the dumbest fucking idiots on the internet are just these naysaying, nitpicking naysayers. I mean, fuck you. You're not saying anything. You're just complaining, ironically. You're just a whining complainer.
This was a great flaw in the Spockian character, was that they would lack motivation in life without some sort of emotion to generate cause or purpose. Personal.
Are you seriously suggesting that we should remove the amygdala from 5-year-olds just so that they'll grow up without emotional response?
No, I was actually suggesting exactly the opposite, that the Spock character was a fraud, okay, and that Spock was motivated by an honor code, okay? It wasn't just that he wanted to do the right thing, okay, like just wanted it out of nowhere. He wanted it because it would be bad, it would be humiliating to his intelligence, to his heritage, to all the things he felt proud about, to violate logic. So the impetus was still emotional. He had to make the movement take place through emotion. That's how we generate momentum, is through emotion. It fires the thing with the fire. Yeah, they all talk like you now. It fires the thing with the fire. Okay, that makes the little wheels go round. Okay, but where the train goes, that's up to where you lay the tracks of logic. Okay, but the engine is emotion.
Responses, Gary, you're a monster. I don't understand why you have this obsession with mutilating innocent people. It's crazy. It really is.
So anyway, but this is just another cheap maneuver, attempt to claim that because somebody is passionate for a cause, that their passion has blinded them, when it is in fact exactly the opposite.
Gary, I just watched a 22-minute video by you about how we need to go and start stabbing 2-year-olds in the face for the good of all.
Well, whatever. That's just nonsense, right? I'll stick with my thought experiment, okay? All I suggested was that if you put a 2-year-old to sleep in their sleep, if they never woke up, you gave them never wake up berries, that it'd be very hard for somebody to explain to me exactly what the harm is to the 2-year-old. Not the parents, not the grandparents, not anybody else who has expectations for little Mary and her being a great song and dance girl in the future or something. No, for the 2-year-old. How is the 2-year-old itself harmed? That was my poise. Okay, and apparently a straight answer to that simple question is not possible, and a straight paraphrase of that question is not possible. So, again, just slander me. Right, okay, got it. So, fuck you for that. Really, fuck you for that. I mean, that's a very poor ending. Oh, well, we'll go all the way to the end. What the hell?
Humanity, okay? Your passion has blinded you. Also, if you are under...
Well, he didn't even let me finish the point I was making at the end of that video, which is really a great point, I think, was that the understanding trickles down from the top, from our intelligence. Our intelligence informs our emotional ape, that it's full of shit. And it basically says, you got to do better than that, emotional ape. You're a hypocrite, okay? This cute thing is bullshit, okay? You can't treat something different because one thing's cute and one thing's ugly. That's fucking bullshit, and you got to go fuck yourself for that. You're going to have to reform that a little bit, and I'm going to keep you reformed. I'm going to keep telling you you're a bigot if you play that game. You know, that kind of thing.
Making an endeavor you can't possibly... I mean, if your actions are totally fucking futile and based entirely upon emotions, then I would say your emotion has blinded you. Especially when you're always talking about stabbing 2-year-olds. Again, you're a monster, Gary. You're a crazy fucking monster. I mean, you scare me. I mean, you don't really scare me because I think I could take you in a fight because, I mean, look at you. You're just a ruined wreck of a man. But, I mean...
Well, you think you can, okay? I mean, you do have a doubt, okay? I don't have too much doubt, but who the fuck knows, right? You never know till you get there. You never know. How's it go? There's some kind of Clint Eastwood phrase. But whatever, go ahead. Continue.
You scare me in principle the way you're a total fucking psychopath.
Yeah, well, I do, and I do have a taste for eyeballs. So this is a danger for you. I have to concede, okay? Because I really want to get, I want to get so into the fight that I want to do the total I see you thing by, not only killing my adversary, but, yeah, I want to chew on my adversary's eyeballs. I mean, I want to finish the job that way. Or at least halfway through the job, I might. See, that's the thing. I might cheat, and I might start chewing on the eyeball before I've actually finished the job, which would really be messy. But I get your drift.
You're exactly the kind of person who would go into a crowded movie theater or a preschool and shoot the place up.
No, I wouldn't shoot the place up. No, I really wouldn't. I would just start taking bites out of their neck. Okay? I mean, come on. What are guns? Me? Oh, fuck that. I want to use it like a hammer. I mean, gun? Fuck that shit. That's pussy shit.
Because you think that life isn't worth living. You're like, I'm doing these people a favor.
Well, there's a truth to it, That's just the sad fucking truth, right? One of the little kids at the nursery school might have been Jeffrey Dahmer II, you know what I mean? He would have been just growing up to be a miserable motherfucking pain causer. So right there, it's all win if one of them was one rat head, right? And what's the odds, really? How many exceptional human beings are there compared to shitty human beings? So I almost say that the odds are, if you put 20 people in a pile, that fact is you probably don't have one good one in the whole fucking pile. You probably don't. I'm not suggesting anybody go out randomly killing kids in a nursery school. I never said any such thing. But since you brought it up, I would, maybe you should explain to me exactly how the world's a better place. Because, the world's a lesser place. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they're all going to marry badly, beat their wives, be motherfucking cunts. It's just the truth. I mean, the average human is kind of suck. I'd like to say they aren't, but they are. That's why the world sucks, is because the average human is suck. The average human makes Pottersville. That's what they do. They are Pottersvillers. They aren't Bedford Fallers.
Yeah, I'm serious, man. Those people probably had an attitude just like you. I hate life, and I hate anyone who enjoys life even fucking more, okay?
Well, whatever. They should pick better targets. I'm not saying they didn't have some kind of cynical attitude, but I mean, the idea of just shooting little kids is, that's really obnoxious. I just don't see the point in that. There's so many good targets out there. People who've made money in the stock market, for example, and shit. Yeah.
Goddamn monster. You are a sick, depraved individual. You need to kill yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
before you start killing everybody else.
Well, I'll make a deal with you. Okay, if I'm going to kill myself, I'm taking somebody out with me. How's that? Is that outrageous? If I kill myself, I'm taking somebody out with me. How's that for the deal? Then now you're going to keep me alive? You know, if I say, if I kill myself, I'm going to take 10 people out with me. Then will you people start talking about how, Gary, you got to live, buddy. Hang in there, Gary. Come on, you can make it another day. It's okay. Hang in there. I mean, come on. Tell me logical, fuckhead.
Denied.
Yeah, whatever. Like I said, he just misses the point. Just misses the point altogether. Just to play word games. Just to play stupid, silly word games. So again, the real good point at the end of the video is that it's trickled down, baby. Intelligence trickles down and it reforms us emotionally. We change over time because our brain nags the fuck out of us and makes us better. And that's the way it works. What do you want, buddy? Yeah, the animal you said you never see. You want to see the animal? The, abandoned animals that show up here at my house and say, look, he's jumping and happy, you see? The damaged animals that the rest of the world throws out their windows, throws out of their cars into the stream or some other awful horrid thing, and they come here, and I spend more money on them than I spend on my own goddamn food. So fuck you, and such. And I don't do it because I love animals. I don't love anything. It's the goddamn truth. Alright, I do it because it's the right thing to do. Period.